Scytale Polkadot Ecosystem Fund, which will be launching shortly. I have a big deck here. They made me give a deck. I'll address some things on it. So we're going to talk about who are we as Scytale, why Polkadot, and then I'll spend most of the time talking about what we're trying to achieve with this fund. So who are we? So we started back in 2017. My background is financial markets. Christoph, our CEO, has a similar background. He joined us 3 years ago now. So let's see. About us, why Polkadot, and then the fund. Yeah. So we had our first fund, went pretty successfully, returned about 20x in cash to investors. One of our biggest investments was in Polkadot itself, along with Energy Web, which is now a parachain. I guess it'll change the name soon. We'll see. And Ocean Protocol. And yeah, so the idea was always about decentralization, always about long-term building, long-term value creation. And we were lucky that we hit a hype cycle, and the fund's mandate was to return cash, and we did that. In 2022, we launched Scytale Horizon 2, which is not a Polkadot exclusive fund, but has been largely investing in the Polkadot ecosystem. And then a couple of years ago, we took a very big plunge to support the ecosystem because we thought we really needed it, and it was a very compelling investment. And there was no one else willing to step up and sponsor this to come to the ecosystem, which is called Mythical Games. And I'm really looking forward to hearing from John tomorrow because they're doing absolutely transformational things in gaming using blockchain to make it better. So they'll have a very big announcement in a couple of days here at Token 2049 in Singapore. I won't steal the thunder, but it's going to result in hundreds of millions of new wallets. I don't say 100 million, I say hundreds. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, there's me and Christoph. I won't spend too much time on us. And there's the rest of our team that we're working. So we have a significant infrastructure. So we have research, we have administration, we have technical team. So we're really trying to be extremely institutional, which we think we need this kind of approach to bring confidence for others to follow on the investments we make with the ecosystem fund. So I mentioned that. It's a list of our investments for better and worse. You know, in venture, not everything makes it, and there's some up there that haven't, with some that has. And we also have a liquid fund, which we haven't marketed yet. It's building a track record. It is Polkadot, so as Polkadot goes, so will the track record of this. I think it started when Polkadot was around $6 or $7. Now it's $4.28 as the last time I checked. And so it is a bit underwater, but the idea is to capture the performance of Polkadot for those that cannot buy tokens. So people can buy this via their bank account or brokerage account in Europe. But like I said, this will have a listing on an exchange. It's been running for 1 year so far, so it was sort of incubating that. Why Polkadot? I think I won't spend any time on that right here, like why Polkadot, why is Polkadot interesting? You know, we're working on a lot of areas in the ecosystem. We're very active ourselves in the ecosystem when doing things that others don't have. And what we find is that, you know, Polkadot is absolutely the trailblazer, and then others follow and call it something else, or they adopt the technology, but they don't connect to the larger Polkadot ecosystem. And I think one of our main challenges is being less inward-looking and less insular and looking more outward. And we want to be a major agent for change in that area as well. So I'll skip over this and say, no, I'll go back. Yeah, so what do we want to do with the Polkadot Ecosystem Fund? So it has a double mandate. One is for profit, and second is for the benefit of the ecosystem. So both of those aspects have to be there for any investment. but in different degrees on either axis. But they absolutely both need to be there. And so what we're really looking for is, it's going to be dot denominated, meaning that you'll invest dot, you'll see the number of dot that'll be in the fund. A part of that dot will be put into liquid strategies that have the target of returning at least staking reward or more, which is a big challenge right now with staking where it is, but there are a couple of endeavors working to change that, and I think there's a lot of talk, as we heard in the last panel as well, that probably the inflation rate will come down, which will make other liquid strategies much more attractive. Secondly, we want to do the hard work of doing the deep dive on teams that want to build on Polkadot, attract them to Polkadot, then share that research with other investors to bring them in. So we want to write the first ticket, but we definitely don't want to be the whole round. We find that in crypto especially, having a really good cap table really helps the performance of a project. So that's one of the main efforts that we'll be doing. We're also involved in business development, so we'll have a representative from Poke here, Nader, and we're working very, very actively for the existing suite of products that are on Polkadot to get adoption there, because adoption means, that's what our main goal in Polkadot and Ecosystem Fund anyway. And we're off to a very good start there. And then mentorship and long-term goals for the project. So we've taken it on ourselves to run 2 academies so far. First one ended up in an investment. So this is like for very early stage teams that we work with, put them through a 10-segment program, kind of like a boot camp, where there's a stipend for joining it. And the first one ended in an investment, and the second one was a gaming one, because we see gaming as one of the ways that blockchain will be adopted much more quickly. And how many teams were there? About 8 teams went through it. 10 teams went through that, and we had a very good mentorship with Mythical Games, Animoca Brands, and a number of other teams leading some of the segments. So we're going to do another one early January or early next year, and we haven't finalized that one yet. We're still in process for it, but the idea is to keep the funnel going for the ecosystem and the fund. And yeah, that's about a little bit of what we're trying to do. And with the partners. So we're getting an investment of $5 million from the ecosystem. We'll be investing some from the GP as well. We don't know if it's going to be $500,000 or $1 million yet. And we're trying to get third-party investors to commit their dot and make the case that your dot will return at least as much as it would if you were holding it, and even potentially better if we're getting good VC type of investments into the fund. So I think I went through it very quickly, and I'd really like to open it up for conversation now. If anybody has any points, I think the main things that I want to get through is that this is really about building the ecosystem and making it much more open, much more attractive, definitely cross-chain, and really to support liquidity as well as private investment. So once again, we want to support liquidity, we want to support teams coming to Polkadot, and we want to support other investors joining us. So we want it to be very, very collaborative and do that in practice and not only in talking about it. So does anybody have any questions? Okay, well then I guess we have a shorter one right now. And I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mark. Audience may not have a question.